Hey everybody, welcome. Steve back, and I'm going to go over the Hard Surface Toolbox 2.6. Done some rearranging here, cleaned some stuff up. All right, great. So I'm going to delete all that. I'll go back to this, and the cleanup up top went into a pie menu. I know there's a bunch of features there, and it was really crowding things up. So Shift-Alt-Q brings up your pie menu. You can now bridge, mark sharp, clear. You can subdivide. The mesh mod is the Laplacian with presets and a mouse control, so be careful when you use this. I've got an add bevel weight right here, an edge crease, and then an X-ray, and that way you can kind of see what you're doing and see through the mesh. And so if I happen to append another thing in at the 3D cursor, it's actually X-rayed. So what we can do here is go down and let's see here. I want to do a show cavity for sure, and then the show in front. Let me pull this out just a little bit. Hide grid. There we go. So that'll put this in front of other models in X-ray if you press hide grid, and then you can Shift-Alt-Q to come back out of X-ray, and it also takes the axis lines out of the mesh, which is really important, and it will show it in front. So while you're modeling, if you've got something close, it's not going to mess you up. You also have a nice face orientation button here. So if I come in here and flip that normal, you can see the normal is now flipped, and your shading is going to be waxed, so you want to fix that. And of course, you could show the axis, you could show the wire, check out your geo, and then the cavity, it's on. You can check both, and I'll turn off face orientation, and you'll get these neat little edge lines. And if you can't zoom in for some reason, like I can't, hit 7 and get the top view, and you'll realize you're too far off, and shift middle mouse, kind of zoom in, and then shift middle mouse and bring that bad boy up. And now you can zoom and then control middle mouse and then move the mouse, and you can do another level of zoom, which is super cool. All right, and then of course you've got the shade flat, shade auto smooth. This adds a standard 30-degree angle. You can bring it down to create some pretty cool looks. So you don't have to have all of that. There we go. And you can just show it like that. And that's another way to do it. I'm going to put this back to 30 because that's actually where I want it. And so you have the origin to the 3D cursor. So if I bring it up here, I could bring this origin up here, and you can see you can rotate it, and that'll help you. Origin to geometry, cursor to the active. So if I wanted to bring the cursor to the active, I now can place a mesh. Well, that's not fair. Let's do it this way, because you know that's coming in at the 3D cursor. I can throw a torus in the middle here, and maybe I wanted to boolean this out. And you see I still have in front on, so that might mess you up for that mod. And I'll just hide that and get it out of the way. And so now if you were going to maybe shade that bad boy smooth, and now you've got 2 levels, like a little spin top. And then you could use the Carver tool, you know, to kind of spice this thing up. I'll pull up the Carver tool. I've got some tutorials on this, and I make a nice little slice. Actually, I think I'll start like on this grid line right here. And if you don't have my modifier, it's fine. I just want people to be able to follow along. So go to Edit, go to Preferences, type in Carver, turn this on, and you can invoke this with Control-Shift-X. It's a free hard surface modeling tool inside of Blender. It's super powerful. So just left click on that grid line, and what it's going to do is it's going to bring this up. And I just want to make a tiny slice. I can hold Shift and then left click to place that. And then if I right click off, you can see I've got this nice slice. Now also, I've got another modifier set up here. So if you add a bevel and you don't have the hard surface toolbox, you can come over here and get Bevel Magic. I got a link down below. Make sure to smash that subscribe and like on the way down to grab that nice free add-on I made for you. Now you can press intensity levels of your bevel, 1 to 5. So if I just press 1, it's the smallest bevel possible, period. And if you come down here, you'll see clamp overlap is defaulted off. Shading, hard and normals is defaulted on. I do not have the sharp to arc, just because not every application calls for it, so you'll have to modify that. And then if I move up in intensity, 3, 4, and then 5, you'll see the overlap, but it works good on other mesh. So now I can throw a bevel here and then turn on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea, and it does work on some mesh. So I use the intensity of 1 and match the bevels for both, and you can press it in as many times as you want. There's also an auto shade smooth here. You can press that and you'll get your auto smooth. And then of course the hard surface toolbox has all that built right in. So if I grab the mesh here, I'm in shading, I click auto smooth, boom, grab this, auto smooth, does the whole thing. Or I can shade it flat, go back. So that's pretty cool. And then there's a lot more you can do. So if you go in, Shift Alt, and let me grab the main body, Shift Alt Q, and we go to the mesh mod. And let me apply the modifiers first. Let's see, where is that? I've changed it up so much, I don't even know where everything is now. So apply the modifiers. Like I said, you have to bring some of these down. There's a lot of tools in here right now. You've got a weight map, you've got a shrink flat, and all this comes to when you go into edit mode. And we're not going to go over all that just yet, but we will. And so if I grab this, I'm just going to hide this piece. I grab this and Shift Alt Q and hit Mesh Mod. Now I can modify the mesh however I want, and I can make some pretty cool changes to it. And it's using a preset on the X and Y. I did not add it to the Z. You can if you want. It's set to 10 repeat, and then the lambda factor, I have that as control, so you can actually control it. And if you kind of get stopped, just press it again, Shift Q, Shift Alt Q, Mesh Mod, and then you can hold down Shift to slow it down. I added that, and something like that is cool. And then you hit Escape while you're holding Shift, and you'll place it. Okay, that's how we're going to do that. And then you can grab this one, and I would probably just scale it, but you can see it's wacky. You can't do anything. So I also made another change. Apply Scale was messing up some of my meshes, so I know it's messing up y'all's. So the rotation and scale is all that applies now, not the location. And so now if you go to scale this up, I got to move the origin. So let me come down here, origin to geo. And you can apply scale. I didn't actually have to apply scale there, but it's okay. And left click, place that, and that's looking good. And so now that we've modified it this way, we're good. And you can apply the modifiers. I gotta grab that one. There we go. And okay, so that's cool. Now you have the Carver tool, the toolet, the apply scale, and the rotations all in one place. Don't forget to check on the all apply modifiers. And real quick, before we get too far, make sure that you have, type in modifiers in the add-on install area, and you'll see interface modifier tools. What that's going to do is it's going to bring up the apply all modifier. So if I had an armature or anything like that, then you're going to see under custom modifiers the apply all. If you don't see that in red, that means you don't have that modifier on, and you might not have the apply all block up here as well. And so you've been missing out. It should come static on in the later blenders, but you know how they do it. They don't always have everything laid out. Now, because I'm working with origins quite a bit, and say maybe I want to bring the cursor to this active and come back out and bring the origin to the cursor so that I can now rotate around this, then I can do that. And I wanted the origins a little bit closer, so you can do that. You can also put cursor to active and kind of like reset everything, and origin to geo. And then the apply scale, it's only going to do the rotation now and the scale. And you can kind of change that as you see fit. I left that open. You guys do what you want. Then you've got the Boolean. It's like a solidify Boolean. It does not work as anything other than a solidify unless you actually have a Boolean. Well, I mean, it does work, but it's not going to be the same thing. It's not going to be what you want. So like if you Shift D, scale that G and C, and this is my Boolean, then I go ahead and control minus that and grab the boolean. I now click the solidify and it'll throw an extra layer in there and solidify the boolean inside and out, which is super cool. And then apply all modifiers and you can delete the cutter. Apply all modifiers on the actual mesh and then delete the cutter, and then you've got something cool. Now, as far as going into edit mode and some other things you can do, I'm going to come down, skip over this. It's self-explanatory. You can drop in pre-made hard surface models. It's pretty cool. You can append it to the cursor or wherever I actually had it placed. Now you can hide the grid, which moves the wires off. You know about that. You can show the wire, which you can't see too well. You can turn on cavity, which is better seen here, and you'll get a good idea of where your edges are. Of course, the shade auto smooth is still in the shading area. You've got the, forget about the quad bevel, actually disabled that. I'll remove that button off of there. So you can shade it flat, shade it smooth, turn on cavity, show axis. Now, if you're in edit mode, you can flip a normal, show the face orientation, and whatever's in red is going the opposite direction. So you just grab that and flip it back. You turn off the face and you're good. And then of course, if you don't know, A for all, Alt N, you can flip all the normals here, or you can just select A for all here and flip them right here. And then show the face and you'll see which way the normals are going. So that way you would be modeling inside. Or if there's some particular reason you wanted to do that, you can flip, it's all back to normal. Also, just throw a cylinder in here and I want to rotate this. Let's see, I'll rotate it on the X at 90 and apply the scale so that zeroes back out. Let's see, I'm going to stretch this out on the Y just a little bit and apply the scale. So now if I go 45 degrees here, apply that, and if I want to tool that across Y, it's pretty cool. Start making some pipes if you feel like you want to make some pipes. And so let's see, I didn't have the apply on, so if you have, alright, so I had the auto checkbox somehow inverted in the program, so I just fixed that. Let's go preferences, and I'm going to grab the HSTB. I'll remove that, and I want to install the one I just fixed, and now it should be on. So let's rotate that 90 degrees, apply the scale, and now if I tool it, it's good. Okay, yeah, so I had a little bit of a glitch there. And you can make some very, very cool shapes. So, you know, it's the sky's the limit on what you want to do. Anyways, guys, that's it. Appreciate you watching. You can pick up the Hard Surface Toolbox on the Blender Market and grab this one free. Let's see, do I have lights in here? Yeah, I've got Light Magic. I put it on the Blender Market. It's 51 cents. I'm not going to pay the $30 a month to give anything away free. Once my account grows and it's bigger, then I'll be able to offer things free. But it's 51 cents and I've got it going to the dev fund anyways. So grab this. It's going to put all the active lights in your scene in one spot. I won't do a big tutorial on this, but one of the cool things you can do, and let's see, everything looks good. I just don't have a plane. So let's throw a plane under there, GZ. And I'm really curious as to why this is so bright. Is that the scene world doing that? Ah, there we go. I didn't have scene world on. All right, so any of these lights, and I'm just going to kill all those. And if I add a light in, as I add that light, I can bring that light up. It'll automatically be selected. You've got a lot of cool things here. Shadow size is your radius, so don't be confused, but it will help create the shadows. You turn the energy up, change it from point to any other light you want. And the cool thing, and like I said, it's basically free. I'm not getting anything. I think maybe because of the dynamic of it, I think I get like 3 pennies or something. So you could take this and effectively throw in the 3-point, and it's going to register the 3-point light for you automatically. And so you can kind of go through this. And as I add to this, it will probably turn into a pay add-on, but I'm trying to make a bunch of stuff free for you guys. And I also have another free add-on. I'll put the link down below. It's a viewport enhancement add-on. It's very simplistic. It goes in the T panel. And I think it's the Shading Magic. Let's give that one a try, shall we? Shading. Nope, don't see it. Because I thought I had it installed here, but apparently I do not. Let's see, I'm in the D drive where I should be. There we go. I got it named as my add-on for some reason, because as I was building it, I'd never renamed it. Now you can leave this one just like it is. It doesn't have to be expanded, but just so you can kind of see it. This is going to give you a viewport theme. Go back to the solid view. And so an active object here is red. And my active object here is red. But if I want it to be green, I can change it to green. And then you literally have every other thing for the viewport in here. So you can go through there and play with some of that if you want. Cavity can be turned on here as well. So you also have the spec. You could turn on the spec off and on. If you don't know what that is the specular lighting. So if I turn that, if I click that on, it actually turns specular lighting off over here. So you'll know it's off. And then for materials, you can instantly jump into random and all that stuff. And it's pretty easy if you just kind of get used to what you got. You can just click this, go to texture, go to material, go to object, go to attribute, and all that good stuff. All right, and then you can turn cavity on and off here as well. So don't get confused if you're using the hard surface toolbox. Plus that, this one is going to turn it. See, it should be on by default. Yeah, it's on by default. So if you turn that off, if you make that look like it's on, it's actually off. But you'll see the difference there. And then the hard surface toolbox does not lie. So you see the cavity on and off. That's on and off. Okay, that was very confusing. I'm going to leave that in the tutorial. That's funny. So you'll know if it's on or not. You can just come in here and see. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. Go pick up those free add-ons. This one is for pay, but, you know, it supports the channel. I got it pretty cheap. It's going to grow anyway, so if you get it now, when my planned programming is finished, when my Python code is finished for what it's going to do, you guys are going to love it. So check it out. See you guys in the next one.